Hey guys, this is James here. I'm back for some more Naya Zoo. So, we're just gonna jump on in here real quick, create a game, modern, just the way we like it. And we're gonna go ahead and load Zoo. So, we're ready to start. So again, for those of you who haven't been watching, Zoo focuses a lot on creatures. Wild Nicodle, Noble Hierarch, Loxodon Schmeite, and Tarmogoyf. All good creatures that it focuses on. You get them out fast because they're cheap creatures and it's a lot of fun. So we're going to control and roll our dice. So we got a 6, they got a 19. Kind of stinks. We're going to draw our hand. So we have a Path to Exile, which is okay if we're playing creatures. We do have a Windswept Heath, a Temple Garden, but all in all, this isn't a very good hand. So I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. So this is almost the same. It is a little bit better though. We do have a Lightning Bolt. And so I'm going to go ahead and scry. So, Horizon Canopy, that is not really what I want. So I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and let him play. So he's going to go ahead and play a Forest and play a Noble Hierarch. Okay. So we draw into a Collected Company, which isn't very good at all. So I'm going to go ahead, play Wooded Foothills. I'm going to crack it. And I'm going to go in and get a Sacred Foundry. So that I can either bolt or Path to Exile depending. And I'm going to take 2 to keep it in untapped. So we're in his main phase. He has a Noble Hierarch, which basically means he's either playing Infect or Zoo or a few others that he could be playing, but those are the big ones. So he's going to swing for 1. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take 1. He's going to go to his second main phase. He's going to crack a Wooded Foothills. Okay. Breeding Pool. And here's the Blighted Agent. This is Infect. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I just put it bolt. Yep, he gets the idea. Okay. So now gonna draw. So Tarmogoyf is okay. We do have, he would be a 3/4, which is pretty good. Think that I'm gonna play Windswept Heath and sack it. So I'm gonna go, and I think I'm just gonna get a basic forest. And then could play Voice of Resurgence, but think I'm just gonna play Tarmogoyf as a 3/4. So we got a 3/4 Tarmogoyf, which is pretty good. And I'm gonna end the turn. So he's playing Infect, which is kind of a hard deck to play against, but shouldn't be too bad. So Windswept Heath. Or a Forest. And he's gonna attack with Noble Hierarch. So he Infect boosts creatures a lot, so he's probably got a boost spell. And I don't know if I want to sacrifice my Tarmogoyf. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. So it didn't actually end up boosting. So that's good. So we're going to untap and draw another Voice of Resurgence, which is really annoying, but not too bad. So I think I'll just play the Voice of Resurgence so I can have a blocker that I don't really care about. I'm gonna go to attack and swing with Tarmogoyf. So he takes 3, and I'll go ahead and pass the turn. So it doesn't seem like he got the best draw for Infect. And he passes the turn. So, makes me happy. So we're going to draw. We draw Plains, which is actually really good. So we're going to play that. Now we could play Knight of the Reliquary, which gets +1/+1 for each land card in my graveyard. So it'd get +2/+2, which would make it a 4/4 for 3. Which is actually really good. Or I could path his Noble Hierarch and play Voice of Resurgence. But I think I'm going to go with the Knight. So the Knight comes in. And I'm just going to increase for a 4/4. And swing for 2 and 3. Oh, sorry, forgot to put it into declaring attackers. Oops. So now we're attacking with a Voice of Resurgence and a Tarmogoyf. So he's tapping 2. He's gonna Vines the Noble Hierarch, making it a 5/6. Or a 4/5? Yeah, 4/5. And block Tarmogoyf. What? So Tarmogoyf dies. So it's kinda sad. But so we do get a 3/3 token off of this guy. So I'm gonna create a token. So we do get a 3/3 elemental, which is pretty good. So then we'll go we'll pass the turn. So he's gonna draw and Serum Visions. So not too bad, just drawing. He's probably digging for something he can use to infect me. So he gets a Pendelhaven. And he's going to pass the turn. So we're going to untap and draw. So we draw an Arid Mesa. So we'll go ahead and put that down. So going to crack the Arid Mesa. And so Knight gets bigger. Oops. Hit the wrong one. Alright, there we go. Knight's now a 5/5, which is pretty good. And then gonna go search for a land. So I'm just gonna get another basic forest. So then I think I could Collected Company. In fact, yeah, actually, I'm going to Voice of Resurgence right here. And I'm going to go ahead and attack for that much. For 10. So he's gonna play a Become Amends. So I'm gonna go ahead and path the Noble Hierarch. Then I'm gonna create a token. It's a 4/4. Oh, and he concedes. So we're playing against Infect. So we're probably not gonna want Kitchen Finxes because life doesn't do much. We will want these Grim Lavamancers because they can do the 2 damage, which gets rid of stuff. We'll definitely want Spellskite because we can turn the boost spells against them. Lightning Helixes are pretty good as well. So I'm probably gonna pop one of them in. So since I have a Lightning Helix, we're not really going to be using these Pride Mages, so we're going to take him out. He doesn't use very many enchantments. Voice of Resurgence was pretty helpful, but it normally isn't. So I think I'm going to take them out as well. So that'll put us to 60. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to start. So Infect's a pretty hard deck to beat, but gonna go ahead and draw. So I do have a Stomping Ground with Noble Hierarchs, which is actually really good. We could probably turn 1 Hierarch. Yeah, this is a pretty good hand. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. He said he was gonna keep, but it looks like he's actually gonna mulligan. There you go. So, okay. So, I'm gonna guess that he's gonna be on the play. But, not quite sure. Alright, here we go. So he's gonna play an Ink Moth Nexus. So, we draw a Tarmogoyf, which is okay. It would have been better if we had fetch lands. But I'm going to go ahead and play Stomping Grounds and tap it to play a Noble Hierarch and pass the turn. So he's cracking a Windswept Heath. Pretty normal. He's taking 2. I'm probably going to get hit with 1 Infect. Right here. Not terrible, but every bit of Infect is always bad, so. Shuffle his library. Oh, he's gonna pass the turn. We're gonna go ahead and draw. So we draw Domri Raid, which is our only Planeswalker, which is kind of interesting. Haven't really done very much with her. So, think I'm just gonna play a Stomping Ground and gonna take 2. I'm gonna tap 1 and play Grim Lavamancer. And then I think I'll tap this Noble Hierarch and play another Noble Hierarch. So open land isn't really doing much. So I'm actually just gonna play it in tapped. So, gonna pass the turn. So he gets another Ink Moth Nexus. Not quite. So he's gonna swing for 1. Alright. So I guess I'm just gonna take 1. Just gonna do this as Infect. So he taps his breeding pool and plays a Glistener Elf. Alright. So he's gonna pass the turn. So we're gonna draw. We draw Wild Nacatl, which is actually really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the Plains here. Then I think I'll just play Wild Nacatl. So yeah. She'll be a 3/3 because we have all 3 lands. I could do Domri Raid, but that's kind of a... Yeah, I think I'll do Domri Raid actually. So, Domri Raid, I'm just going to do her +1. So that lets me look at the top card of my library. And so to look at the top card, and so now if it's a creature card, I may reveal it and put it into my hand. It's not a creature card, but it is a pretty good card, so I'm just gonna leave it there. And I think I'll pass the turn. So I really need to be careful because Infect can one-hit kill you, but it's not really all that likely that they'll do it. So he's gonna get an Inkmoth Nexus, and he's gonna swing with the Inkmoth at me. Okay. So I'm gonna take 1, putting me to 2 Infect. And here we go. Guessing he's gonna play Vines, but not quite sure. He did. Oh. He's thinking. So he's just gonna go with the 1 Infect. So now it's the second main phase. There's not a ton that he's gonna play. He could play some Noble Hierarchs. He's gonna play Twisted Image. He's gonna kill my Noble Hierarch. So that's kind of sad, but not terrible. So he's gonna pass the turn. We're gonna go ahead and draw. So we draw this Lightning Bolt, which is great. We could swing in and deal some damage, kill the Glistener Elf, or we can wait, and when he turns this Inkmoth into a creature, we can bolt it then. So he has... So we could play Tarmogoyf as a 3/4 right now, if we wanted to. And pretty sure it's the best thing to do right now. So I'm going to play him down. So 3, 4. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do Domri Raid. So it's a Dromoka's command, so he can't really do anything with that, but I do really want that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and attack with Wild Nacatl. If he blocks, he'll lose his Glistener Elf, and Wild Nacatl will become a 2/2. Which, alright, so he's gonna take it. And Exalted Trigger. So yeah, gonna pass the turn. So, Infect's fun. I looked at playing Infect before, so know this deck pretty well. Yeah. So he's in his main phase. He's gonna get this Ink Moth ready to attack. There we go. So in response to that, just gonna go ahead and Lightning Bolt it. So he's gonna go ahead and Vines of Vastwood, giving it protection. So that goes ahead and gets rid of the Lightning Bolt. But what he didn't do, which kind of surprises me, is he didn't kick it. So that's really good for us. So he's gonna swing for 1. I can't block it, so I'm gonna take 1. And it's the end phase. So we're gonna untap, draw. So we get Dromoka's Command. So with Dromoka's Command, the best part is I can put a 1/1 counter on and have it fight his Ink Moth, and the 1/1 counter will basically counteract the Infect. So that's pretty fun. So I think I'm gonna just do this right here. Just gonna do it this way. So this time it is a creature. So I get to reveal it and put it into my hand. So Knight into my hand. So I don't actually have any lands, so it'd just be in as a 2/2. And in fact, I could probably Grim Lavamancer. Yeah, I got a lot of good stuff that I could do. So doesn't have any creatures, so Scavenging Ooze isn't gonna do a ton for me. So I think I might just attack with Wild Nacatl and Tarmogoyf. So he's got 2 instants and a land. And I've got a creature, so that's 3. So Glistener Elf will die. For sure. Oh, he's gonna Distortion Strike. Wait. I'm confused as to what he did. This is a sorcery. So, not quite sure what he did. So, you can't play sorceries on my turn, so I'm not sure what he was doing. So we do definitely take the Infect, but he's going to go ahead and take the 3, and we're going to pass the turn. So he's going to play a Pendelhaven, which isn't great for us, but it's not bad. So he's going to get an Ink Moth. And in response, I'm going to exile these 2 and go ahead and deal 2 damage to it. So he's going to become Immense It right here. So it becomes a 6/6, or a 7/7, gets +6/6. So it takes 2, putting it to 5. So I could Dromoka's Command with the Noble Hierarch, but that's not going to do anything. So he's going to swing with flying. I don't think there's anything I can do really. But I'm going to go ahead and Dramoka's command. So I'm going to add a 1/1 counter. And then gonna... So... So he's gonna make it so it can't be the target of spells or abilities, and that's game. So we do have one more. So there's not a lot that we can really add in anymore. We might just do this guy because he has flying. And when he searches for a fetch land, just shut him down maybe. So I might go ahead and put him in. Domiray doesn't really do all that much. So I'm probably going to take him or her, can't really tell, out. And I'm ready to start. So I'm going to be on the play this time. So I'm going to draw. This isn't the greatest hand, but I can turn one Temple Garden and Noble Hierarch. It is slightly concerning that I only have the one land. I want to get these Grim Lavamancers down, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. So this is a very good hand. We do have the Lightning Helixes and the Path to Exile, as well as a nice Nikotl. So I'm going to go ahead and scry. Knight of the Reliquary. Doesn't really matter because I'm going to Wooded Foothills and shuffle it up anyways. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep it there. So I'm going to just tell him that I'm keeping. Okay. So then I'm going to Wooded Foothills. Take one. And I'm going to go in and think I might get a Sacred... No, I do have a plane, so I don't think I'll go get the Sacred Foundry. I think I'll go get a Stomping Ground. I'm going to take two, because life doesn't really matter against Infect. I'm going to go ahead and play Wild Nikotl. So she'll be a 2/2 because I do control a mountain. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn. So there's not really much that he can do turn one. He's going to go and Gitaxian Probe. So I'm going to reveal my hand to him. Not a big deal. They don't play a lot of stuff that'll steal from my hand. So he goes and plays an Inkmoth Nexus and passes the turn. So I'm going to go draw. So we draw into a forest. Definitely going to play a plains. And if he makes this guy bigger, I'm going to path him. So I'm going to go to attackers and swing for 2. Or 3, actually. Alright, I didn't even notice. Yeah, swing for 3. And then I'm going to pass the turn. So not sure what he's going to do, because he does know that I have the Path to Exile and the Lightning Helix. So he might not make his Inkmoth Nexus vulnerable. So he's going to pass the turn, which is totally fine. So I'm going to draw. So I get a Noble Hierarch, which is actually super good. So I'm going to play the Forest and play the Noble Hierarch. I'm going to go to attackers and swing for 4. So that's really good for us. Going to pass the turn. So Here we go. He's gonna Wooded Foothills. Not quite sure what he's gonna do. But so he's gonna play Noble Hierarch. So I'm gonna pass the turn. And then I'm just gonna Lightning Helix his guy right now. So I'm gonna gain 3. And I'm gonna untap. And oops. Just gonna shuffle. So we did get a Loxodon Schmider, which is pretty good. He's a 4/4 for 3, and with Exalted makes him even bigger. But you know what? I might go ahead and Collected Company right here. So I get to look at the top 6 and put 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less onto the battlefield. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I get a Noble Hierarch and either a Scavenging Ooze or Tarmogoyf. So those 3. Or an Aven Mind Sensor, which is really good. I'm definitely going to do this guy. I mean, he doesn't get his ability, but he is a 2/1 with flying to block the Ink Moth. So I'm going to get him. I could get the Tarmogoyf. He'd be... I'm not quite sure what he'd be. He'd be a... I think he'd be a 4/5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to double check. So he's got a sorcery, a land, an instant, and a creature. So that's 4. And I've got those. So looks like the guy's actually lost connection. So this might not be good. This might be a win. So we're gonna go. So we got a 4/5. So I can swing for 4 right here, but the guy's not here right now, which is kind of annoying. So just gonna attack. So it's pretty much impossible for him to kill me next turn, and he was probably gonna be dead next turn. So he lost connection, and he would have lost. So we're gonna go ahead and chalk that up as a win. So this was Naya Zoo. It's been fun playing. So see you next week. See you on the flip side.